share of doubters. I myself have doubted LiViD from
Yeah, me
time to
too.
time. But this is where they can prove us wrong, at least for now, right? This is Waverunners. They can have a good performance here. They book their ticket into playoffs, make this a decisive win. Why don't you? And prove that you've earned your spot and contend with the rest of these now increasingly strong teams we're seeing going into the playoffs. We'll see how Oregon shakes up. First, of course, our operator ban, see if anything gets a bit spicy like we saw on Consulate with our Thermite ban. But for now, the Thatcher first taken off the board, nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably going to be pretty normal. This is probably Hibana or Ace. Yep. It's going to be Hibana. The thing about the map choice, Oregon, both of these teams have only banned Oregon once. And curiously enough, it was both against Outlast. That's a little bit of an odd coincidence. Maybe Outlast are nasty on it in scrims. I don't know. But LiViD have played this map. Waverunners have not. And LiViD lost it 7-8 to the Pioneers. But that was their first Playday with Rexavy. So I imagine, now that Rexavy is meshed with the roster, as the analyst desk has highlighted, Oregon may be even stronger for them. But of course, Pioneers, they've had a little bit of a shaky season. Cade and Valkyrie being the next two bans, also very standard. Curious that there's a Cade ban with the Maverick still up, but hey, sometimes, you don't want to have to run the Maverick, and you figure, we'll just opt to take something else instead. And that's something else. They'll have the Thermite as their sole hard breacher, and they'll bring the trio, Ash, Zoe, and Iana all at the same time. There is utility, even with the Sledge, who's got nades, and Thermite, who's likely got flashes. There is utility abound for this attack right now to deal with anything the defense throws at them.
Well, something I know we're going to talk a lot about in this one is entry picks. On a map like Oregon, entry kills are very, very impactful. And as our analyst has highlighted, Connor was talking about the entry comparisons between these two teams. And all eyes, for me at least, are going to start on Whitlock and Nicolo. Nicolo especially on the attack. This is someone who I've seen in community leagues absolutely tear this map apart, tear opposing teams apart on this entry role, on this map, when he's feeling confident. Are we getting one of those days? I guess only time will tell. LiViD would have their work cut out for them if that's the case. But a player like Nicolo, when they're on, they are playing out of their minds. But sometimes if he's not feeling it in the moment, then maybe those entry duels aren't going to go his way, and you could be in a bit of trouble. We'll see how LiViD want to start things off on defense. As far as this setup goes, there's nothing out of the ordinary. They are going to put a good bit of pressure into elbow and hold down the construction side of things, but pretty much a default setup other than that. You're combining your projectile denial of your Wamai and of your Jaeger with those Surya gates from the Aruni. You have your Goyo shields and your smoke. This is a very traditional basement hold, utility focused. Now that Waverunners begin their attack, we'll see how they want to walk themselves into this.
Rexavy playing a little bit aggressively by Greenhall. All he'll manage to deny is the initial Iana clone from Venice. I mean, hey, it'll be a little bit slower of a clear if they want to use the Iana clone, or they'll just go ahead and drone it. The freezer hatch will now be opened by said Thermite of Maple. So this is looking like it's probably a freezer tower push. There's not too much going on over towards the laundry side other than that one hole being opened up by Silent. In fact, every single attacker right now hovering over towards security, Z, and freezer. So hey, maybe they still have time to go ahead and go laundry. They've still got a minute and a half left of this round, and the Zoe is going to start making her way down the stairs. Nicolo has enough utility to pretty much burn away that shield by himself, and there we go. The laundry hatch will go down, so it will be a laundry freezer push from this attack first and foremost. But looking at where the defense is set up, it doesn't appear as if there's too much to get in the way of this.
No, there's not. You don't have a shield in the long haul. You don't have as much, even in that washroom corner, that laundry corner that you would normally see. So this could be the perfect strategy for Waverunners here. LiViD, they've surely noticed this by now. They might have time to rotate one shield around and get that to a better position. The shield in freezer, at least, will get taken down before anything of that sort can happen. But Zeno hasn't rotated out just yet. He'll hold this position and hold this freezer cross, now joined by Whitlock, who's actually going to get quite aggressive in laundry itself. Still waiting to push on through. That's Nicolo at the helm of this attack. Silent following close behind. Now joined by 2 players working their way around the main stairs to get this crossfire established. Now LiViD know exactly what's going on. All attention is trained on this position. The question is, can these smokes stop it? And can Carnage B get this headshot? Bad timing for him. He'll take down his gun and lose his life. Rexaby will fall as well. Yes, Whitlock has an answer onto Silent. Nicolo is dropped, and now Whitlock goes massive. Whoa! A triple kill with the pistol. It's all up to Maple. Carnage B is down. Nicolo is down. It is 1 versus 1 for the round. Whitlock now. He might have a chance to actually get Carnage B back up because Maple has backed on off to play the vertical. He will. So it'll be a 2v1 in this retake. Maple will actually go back downstairs to play aggressive, sensing he may have missed an opportunity. He'll eat a face full of smoke and now have to check 2 angles. 1 pre-fire hits, but Whitlock from behind, the quad kill. And now the ace will finish out the round as he secures the down and gets the defuse.
Holy moly, Whitlock!
Defenders win.
Jesus! We said, you know, there wasn't a lot there from LiViD's defense to stop the Waverunners' attack, but I guess Whitlock is really all they needed. And I'm not really quite sure how that Waverunners' attack completely fell flat on its face like that. They seem to have everything covered. They were having barreling down towards Freezer and Laundry at the same time. They got the opening pick with the nade. It was Silent onto, I think, Zeno, who was the Wamai, if I'm not mistaken. And they got the guy in box. Or at least they downed the guy in box. They got the plant down. It seemed like everything was going in Waverunners' favor, and then, well, Whitlock just said, no. You just can't win. I'm sorry, you just can't win this round. And he pieced up every single member. Well, okay, 4 members of the attack. I didn't see if he was the one who downed that last guy in Freezer, but pretty much pieced together every single kill. What a play from him. I mean, the analyst desk, they highlighted this guy for a reason. He has been, you know, he was touted as probably one of the best amateur players that we had in T3. You know, he and Gunner, wherever they went, seemed to be the most dominant team at the time. And he's been having an admirable performance in Challenger League so far.
Well, 5 kills to kick off round number 1 is certainly the way to make a statement and show the Waverunners that you mean business when it comes to winning this one quickly. They'll transition, though, as a team to this top floor bomb site now that the basement is locked on off and they don't want to head to anything strange like meeting or dining anytime soon. So we'll see this top floor site, and we're going to see a bit of a tower-sided hold. Big tower, that is. Whitlock will be committing his life to holding T3. Oddly enough, we just talked about his T3 career. Now he's playing there, and he'll be assisted by Omega, who is playing down below. He's got some mute jammers and a shotgun in hand to assist this clear that, I mean, I would assume Waverunners will eventually have to do. One problem lies, however, if Waverunners completely ignore tower and completely ignore attic, one risk is that LiViD could be understaffed on the site, and they could be in a bit of trouble. For now, Waverunners, that seems to be their plan. A nade below from Vena will not connect because Carnage B made a quick escape, but his mirror window will be popped from below, and Omega will actually be dropped down. It looked like he wanted to rotate back from that tower position, and Nicolo was not having it.
So, opening pick going the way of Waverunners, but these mirror windows are still, at least the one inside of attic. Whitlock playing on the other side of it. Very lit up. He'll start to make his getaway. Waverunners setting up outside the big window. Silent controlling down below, making sure there's not going to be any C4 to deny the eventual plant that comes from Maple, should that be the avenue the attackers end up choosing. Lovely downstairs, taking a lot of damage from, I believe, the hatch. A C4 goes out from Zeno, but that won't hit anything. Rexaby comes back upstairs to aid his team. There's a minute left, and it looks like Waverunners are about to start the push. Nicolo has his utility out. In goes a stun. That'll stun Zeno. There's not going to be anyone acting upon it. In fact, the only person acting is going to be Silent, and the only one he's killing is himself. The sledge now dead. The man can't now evened back up. No more nade below. I'm assuming that's what he was trying to do, flushing out a corner like that. Vena raring for a quick play over towards Satellite, strangely enough. The Waverunners attack pretty spread out right now. He's going to wait for the call from his team, wait for this big window push to come through. Here it is. The Venom will finally make his presence known, but the camera spotted him. Lovely still gets a kill onto Rexby. Here comes the plant attempt from Maple, but he's going to be stuck in that corner thanks to the open Mira. Whitlock able to find a frag. Carnage losing his fight, though, to Niccolo. It's a triple kill for the Zoe, and now Whitlock has it all to do once again. The plant attempt will resume from Maple, but the Zoph is just around the corner. Niccolo will answer Whitlock's ace with a 4K for himself, and Waverunners tie up the score.
Well, gave LiViD the heads up that Niccolo might be coming in hot in this one, and so far, or at least in round number 2, that promise was delivered upon. Great attack there from Waverunners. I like what you highlighted there, Harrison, about how spread out that was. It did get a little bit concerning in the mid-round, especially after Silent, took his own life with that grenade down below. It looked like Waverunners, they ran the risk of slowing down and actually halting their initial plan of just pushing in. It seemed that everyone was geared up to do it, right? You had 2 players working their way up the white stairs. You had 2 players out the big window, and you had somebody lurking around behind to jump in that satellite window and maybe go for a play around the trophy side. Now, that didn't work because, of course, Silent died and maybe the pressure got stalled out, but what Waverunners did beautifully is they still committed to that plan. I was worried that maybe they'd just say, wait a minute, we've got to slow down. We lost a player. Let's drone out. Let's take our time and try a different strategy. They committed to it. They had all the resources in the right spots, and they equalized the man count with that kill because of that entry pick onto Omega. And that meant that they could just commit and they could get the job done, and they did an excellent job at that, playing the trade game and playing it well, winning out in most of those engagements and eventually taking control of the site, forcing Whitlock to perform yet another miracle. And in this time, it just was not going to be the case.
Yeah, well done from Niccolo. We'll try dorms once again. LiViD figuring, all right, we know what Waverunners attempted last round. We know exactly how to counter it. We're not going to let it happen again. I will say, despite Silent killing himself, that downstairs pressure really did a lot, opening that mirror window, forcing Karn into the corner. I thought Karn was going to be able to just, deny the plant through the mirror window, considering where Maple was, but he decided to swing white instead, which was a little bit odd. And it seems like Waverunners are going for at least a very similar attack. They've already got a man outside the big window. They're clearing down below, making sure there's no one in the bunk corner. And this seems to be, it looks like they're doing pretty much the same take.
Yeah, there goes Vena. Quick work of that mirror window. That's a job well done. And that means that once again, Carnage B is going to have quite a tough time sitting here in that corner. He's vulnerable to a nade from below, but last time we saw how quick he was on his feet, avoiding a nade that he generally can predict because it is a pretty common nade spot. That's exactly what Vena will now get on with, or at least baiting it out a couple times before eventually letting it rip. Dangerous there for Carnage B. He almost actually came back to that position a little too quickly, considering that Vena is still below, and now actually has a nice little hole to toss up that nade through. They've got the pings onto Carnage B. I'm not sure where that drone is located, but here comes a nade right onto Carnage B's head, and by some miracle, he'll only be downed and not immediately finished off. But that opening and that kill onto Xeno now allows the plant to go down. Maple gonna stick that, but Omega will answer with 2 big kills, denying the plant and changing the course of this round in an instant. Waverunners still have an advantage because Carnage B is down on his back. But this one just became doable for LiViD, especially now that Whitlock is about to make a play. He'll creep up from behind, get 1. Where's the call? He'll get 2. There goes Silent, and now it's up to Niccolo. Rexby trying to sneak around. He goes for 1 wall bang. Niccolo avoids it. He'll now go prone and try to play the low angle, and it will work. Rexby with the final kill onto Niccolo, and a great adjustment, and what a comeback in the round from LiViD.
Well played from LiViD. I mean, Waverunners, not only did they have the down on the guy playing the kids' dorms mirror window, they also got that opening pick onto, it was Lovely onto, I believe, Xeno? I'm pretty sure it was Xeno. So, in essence, Waverunners there had a 2-man advantage. And what does it take? Poor coverage from whoever was supposed to cover the plant. Omega just swings around, fries both, and like you said, Whitlock gets the first kill downstairs, and where's the call for Silent? Silent doesn't even react. And so instead of going 1-for-1, which Whitlock probably should have, he's able to shoot the sledge in the back. It's a big two-piece. And that leaves the final player, Nicolo, all alone inside the site, floundering against Goyo. So, good recovery by LiViD, despite Waverunners having, I mean, almost all the advantage. And we're going back to Laundry. The thing is, though, you know, when it comes to this site, we saw LiViD attempt it, and the only reason they won it was because Whitlock aced. So hopefully now we get to see a little bit more grounded of a defense here.
Yeah, this one was a bit messier than I think LiViD would have liked. They gave up too much ground to Waverunners, at least on this south side of the basement, right? You can see it's Laundry and Supply Room, the site, but Laundry is that site that is often, I'd say, more so neglected by the defense. You're so focused on holding elbow or holding that pillar side of things that sometimes maybe you don't commit enough to that single position. So maybe we'll see an adjustment there. Maybe we're going to see an allocation of those shields in a better place. At least we'll see the Mira, right? So we're not going to see the Wamai, but we will see an equally potent, if not more potent, operator for this site. You now have the mirror windows to defend the very attack that Waverunners did in that previous round, and that one mirror window facing that Laundry staircase, the main double door into Laundry as well, reinforces that site tenfold. It now forces Waverunners to clear out an entirely different position that, yes, was dangerous before, but now is a death sentence if you don't clear out that player before you go for this Laundry side attack.
And something that LiViD have been really good so far this season was with Mira. If I'm not mistaken, a pretty common trend is if you leave Mira up, LiViD win, if not at the very least take a point, and if you ban Mira from them, becomes a much harder struggle. And the Mira being left up, I mean, is certainly going to work into their favor. They are very comfortable with this operator. Normally it's Karn, but it looks like it'll be Xeno, at least in this round. And Waverunners are switching up the push. This I like. Instead of going for Laundry Freezer again, you'll be going for your standard tower take. E-Box hatch now open as well. Omega being the first player in the round to take damage. The single panel wall is what he took damage through. It's soft, curiously enough. But I mean, hey, it allows you to pressure those tower stairs as a defender. It doesn't make taking pillar control completely safe for the attack. So, you know, you still got some influence. But they have yet to take pillar. Whitlock is still here along with Rexavy. And Jonah, there's only 50 seconds left.
Yeah, Waverunners, I think it's this setup that they're trying to adjust to. They've maybe had to pivot mid-round, and that's caused quite a bit of time delay. Now they're really geared up to drop down into E-Box, but they've got a lot of utility to clear out, which they're doing effectively, but now they're going to drop right into Rexavy and Whitlock's open arms. They'll swing out and find the initial kill, and a great 180 from Silent nets him another. Carnage B shuts down the blue push. Omega killing Silent in the site itself, leaving Maple as the last player standing. LiViD playing the trades really well, and it is in fact, I think that's Carnage B to finish things off. An excellent round from LiViD just holding down that site, but Waverunners really felt that they may have just beat themselves in the end.
It looked like Waverunners dropped in with not a lot of info. I mean, they had the two guys in pillars, right? The drop comes. Nicolo gets the kill onto Rexavy. Whitlock is able to down one before he dies, but once pillar was cleared, Waverunners made no further headway. The remaining 3 players on LiViD cleaned everything up, with Whitlock's down being confirmed at the very end of the round. The situation where it didn't look like Waverunners knew what they were pushing into on the site itself. And we see that from a lot of teams that just take too damn long. They take too long with the, you know, the adjacent clear to the site. And so that's where all their drones are dedicated. So once we get down to the execute phase, they either don't have time or don't have drones to spot out what's actually on the site. And it really bit them. I mean, they didn't have elbow either. They didn't have elbow. They didn't open the single panel wall, so Omega was still able to play there. You still had Xeno over in Laundry. There's a lot of stuff unaccounted for.
10 seconds left.
Well, now Waverunners will have to account for a new setup for the first time. They're now going to meeting here on the attack, at least, and they're likely going to have to really speed up that clear from that previous round. As a tertiary bomb site, as they most go on all maps, it's a top-down clear, and that's pretty much your first step. And we're going to have to see how Waverunners can get that done. In the previous round, we saw how slow they were and how that penalized them at the end for their execute. But this time, only 30 seconds in, we can see the adjustment they're trying to make. Nicolo is already up towards this kitchen door in dining. He's hungry and looking for these kills, and if LiViD aren't careful, Waverunners actually could capitalize on this rather soon. They will have a couple of castle barricades and a lot of utility to work through, but once they do that, the site could be pretty much theirs. The one danger, of course, that's going to be Omega. He's sitting above this kitchen door. He's lurking and watching from above, and this is exactly why the vertical control is going to be need to establish here by Waverunners. They're going to have to do something about it. Otherwise, they're going to be walking into a death trap. Now, Nicolo is going to adjust for that. Maple as well on that top floor to be joined by now Venna and Silent, pushing from that trophy side. They know there's a kid's hold happening. They've identified the player in attic. They just need to get this done, and they need to get it done fast.
Willock's utility being burned out, meaning the shield will fall. Jaeger now a little bit more exposed, but he's still got Xeno and Omega actually both inside of kids holding his cross. See the attackers starting to set up. There's even a second man inside of attic. There was a lot from LiViD dedicated to this top floor, but in comes Silent. Whitlock will catch him. Sorry, that's Xeno actually finished off the kill. Whitlock downed him, I think. Rexavy, another one onto Venna. And once again, Waverunners are just kind of walking in and giving themselves up to the crossfires. Whitlock finds another. Omega, the other guy inside of dorms, gets one. Waverunners, you got me stumped here. I really don't know what the plan was. They knew there were people in attic, there were people in dorms, so their primary avenue to clear it is into attic?
Couple of questions we've got after that one from the Waverunners here.
Yeah.
At least they did go for the clear, right? They knew the task they had ahead of them. They knew they had to get it done, and when it just came down to executing that plan, that's where the missteps happen. Better than seeing them push straight into the site and getting mowed down from above, so at least there's something positive there. But yes, gotta be better with those top-down clears. That's pretty textbook stuff, standard for every meeting hold. If you're going to attack meeting, you've got to clear attic, or at least you have to apply attic pressure. And if you're going to push kitchen, you need to clear out kids first. Pretty standard stuff there that Waverunners are going to have to correct going forward to round number 6. But based on what we've got here, we're going to be headed to dorms based on what we've got in the round count. And LiViD are looking really good. 4-1 on defense. Yes, 4-2 splits on Oregon. That does happen pretty often. But if LiViD can take this one and continue the dominance now that they've had for the past 2 rounds, 5-1, that is a nearly insurmountable lead, especially on a map that has generally been considered even footing for attacking and defensive teams.
Hopefully we don't see Waverunners just kind of walk in again. That's actually kind of the second round they've done that again. I mean, yeah. They just not proper intel gathering, walking in, and dying to stuff that I guess they didn't know was there. So we'll find ourselves on dorms once again. As the other 2 sites are locked now, I guess the one saving grace for Waverunners here is that they were successful on this site in round 2. The reattempt is where they really fell flat. So we'll see how they decide to take this, as LiViD are playing it very differently. They now have downstairs presence. This is what Waverunners had been playing to clear for, and there was nothing for them to find, because what did LiViD have? Well, they had a T3 hold, and they had mirror windows set up on the site. So now they'll establish kitchen presence, they'll establish meeting presence. So now when Waverunners go for this downstairs clear, if that's what they decide to do again, if they want to go big window for a 3rd time, there's actually people that are going to be here to meet them. And we've already seen how much Waverunners have struggled with getting info. Now there's a Mute Mozzie on the board.
I mean, I'm loving that we're seeing now. This is what the third setup from LiViD on this top floor. They've changed it up every single time, and I love that versatility here. And for Waverunners, that's going to make their task even harder. They got to figure out what they're dealing with this time. They've dealt with a pretty standard hold the first time. They dealt with an attic and a tower hold the second time, and well, this time, a lot of focus being placed onto this first floor. We can see that Vena is going to be one of these first players to attempt to clear that out from the dining side, at least the first player to actually get eyes in a kitchen itself. Maple will assist that by placing down an exothermic charge, opening up this wall, but a mute jammer behind, now that that's been destroyed, will enable this to happen. Xeno making a quick rotation away through meeting, knowing that this is probably a good time to play a bit more passive, but also needs to be wary about supporting his two teammates that are still in this fight. Whitlock, a pretty common position on top of the freezer stairs, joined by Omega as well, playing close in security. This is how Silent can change the course of the round, though. A nade from below could be very effective.
Either a nade or just sitting here waiting for Omega's fallback. We've seen players start to shift to this kind of clear where they'll just have someone sit under the hash, but Whitlock, spotting the drone, decides to get aggressive downstairs. Unfortunately, Silent is tucked just under his gun sight. I was about to praise Whitlock for having 10 kills in 5 rounds, but he'll have no effect on round number 6, the last one in the half. Now, at least Omega gets his trade. Player coming up through freezer finally gets finished off, and that means nades from below are also denied. Omega decides, instead of falling back, well, he'll take this aggressive stance and hold on to security for as long as possible. Shotgun out, any fight taken that close should, in theory, go his way before he gets back up. Though Niccolo does have the LMG. He can just pre-fire these players down, but there's Xeno coming back to assist Omega, finding a kill onto Lovely before Karn gets refragged by Niccolo, who's decided to ascend top white. But now both players they could be in sightline of Omega. Omega will deal damage and distract Niccolo. He gets tunnel vision on the player's security and taken out, and that leaves just Maple and Vena. Vena will slam Rex off the shield. Wonderfully done by the Iana, but he's stuck on just 1 point's worth of HP and left all alone in the 1v2. C4 is raining under his feet. They'll all miss, and he'll start to get this plant down behind the red bunk. Both Xeno and Omega will both come up white. They need to duo against this retake. Vena will tag up Xeno, not finish him off, but there's a lot of angles for Iana to watch. There's too many, in fact. It's a triple kill for Omega and a 5-1 domineering defensive half for LiViD.
LiViD playing that really well once again. Textbook bottom floor hold. You combine 3 different players, all to pressure Waverunners or force Waverunners to apply so much pressure to you that it takes them so much time. Every box they checked. They had the player in security. It was Omega, and he played that to perfection. He looked like he was a dead man in the middle of that round, but he was the one who, in the end, was alive for the retake and got the final kill. How do you let that happen as the Waverunners? He never even dropped below and rotated around. He was pinned in security, a dead man by all intents and purposes, and Waverunners could not clear him out. They got stuck. They lost intel. They didn't feel confident pushing into kitchen, pushing towards that security door just to get that crossfire. Yes, Omega has a shotgun. I get that that's going to be a tough fight to take, but he can't hold the door and hold those kitchen soft walls at the same time. It's just not possible. And if you have 2 players applying the right amount of pressure at the same time, you add a drone into the mix and you can both pre-fire. Omega should have been dead a long time ago, but they let him persist so much longer in the round than he should have. That allowed, really, for the big play for LiViD to happen. It allowed both Rexavy and, I think it was Whitlock to assist, no, Xeno. Rexavy and Xeno to both assist that play, using the vertical, coming below to get those kills, and look at that. The round was over for Waverunners just because of a time management blunder, not taking out Omega when they needed to.
Yeah, well played by Omega, finding 3 kills in that round as well. It's nice to see the support player stepping up. He's 8-3, Whitlock 10-3, 18 kills combined between the two. Between Whitlock and Omega, that is an average of a 3.0 KPR. Some quick maths for you. Laundry is going to be the first site for Waverunners. They are bringing quite the roam-heavy setup. In fact, you know, if this was on Clubhouse, I'd be calling it the SSG roam, but it's a little bit different here on Oregon. A lot of bodies stacked up in meeting, one even ascending the tower stairs into rear stage. He'll soon be droned out by the Iana, but Silent decides to stick here and take the fight. Pre-firing away, though, he'll quickly fall back. Glad he's not going to overstay his welcome. That was very dangerous. Nicolo still upstairs supporting Lovely in meeting. And LiViD need to clear this out. They've already spent a minute getting into the building itself. Now the question becomes, how much time is this Vigil and Mozzie going to waste? Because they have the reinforcements on stage, they have plenty of drone denial. It's going to be tough for LiViD to get an exact bead on these roamers.
Yeah, we can see them struggling over here on the tower side, and a great shot from Vena to absolutely slam Rexby into the ground, and will silence the Nomad, at least for the remainder of round number 7. LiViD still have a long way to go. They've got this meeting wall open, and that's definitely going to help them, but it's not going to pressure this first floor just yet. It's not going to fully clear out these roamers who have now chosen to, for the most part, fall back voluntarily. Still a few players nearby. Actually, Lovely, the only one still in immediate danger. Vena, lurking around the near corner, will also be a problem eventually if LiViD choose to push up towards this freezer side. No, he'll back on off and play the site itself, giving LiViD first floor control, but with only 60 seconds to go, LiViD find themselves struggling, honestly falling victim to the same problems that Waverunners themselves had a problem with on their attack.
Yeah, poor time management. I mean, it makes sense from Waverunners to fall back. They've wasted 2 minutes. They no longer need to be on the roam. Might as well just fortify the site. Here comes Whitlock down the stairs into Pillar. He and Xeno take that control. Omega dropping E-Box Hatch. But there's a kill from Karn, taking elbow and downing Lovely, in fact. And his next target is going to be Maple. The Mute lights him up, but in fact comes away worse for wear. Whitlock tucks himself inside of Supply, covering for the plant. No, sorry, that wasn't Whitlock. That was Xeno. Nicolo actually team killing, I believe, Lovely. That was a little bit odd. The watch from Maverick, it's not going to be successful just yet, but Whitlock still finds Vena. Finally, Karn gets taken out, but the plant has gone down in the meantime. Maple might get on it early. That's going to prompt an aggressive play from Whitlock. He knows he needs to cover. He can't let Maple stick this for too long, but Nicolo pushing down the long haul gets cut off, and the pre-fire from Whitlock is enough to dissuade the Mute from pushing in that direction. It funnels him straight into Omega. A brilliant 2v2 being played by LiViD and puts them up 6-1.
A 6-1 lead, 5 rounds in a row. This is LiViD's match all the way. Just one more round needed, and they will secure themselves a playoff spot, denying the Kansas City Pioneers from that playoff spot that they earned earlier. And moving on to make quite a statement as well. Waverunners, of course, right now they're just playing spoiler. As we've already talked about, they are locked into that relegation spot. They're going to have to fight with whoever comes up from those qualifiers for Stage 3. But right now, they are not looking like a team who could do even that. Of course, they don't have a lot of that motivation, so I understand where they're lacking, and that's just not getting put together, and that's something that they're probably accepting at this point. But if they want to even play spoiler and you know, get that confidence back before relegations actually do happen, they have got a long way to go. 5 rounds in a row are going to be needed, and well, the momentum is as far from their side as it could possibly be. I mean, in that previous round, they held the basement site pretty strongly, but eventually when LiViD went for that execute, eventually having gotten around the Waverunners roam in, I'd say, a little bit too long, Waverunners just kind of started to collapse, exposing themselves to a couple of angles that they really should have known were coming, and wasting their utility, I think, just in a couple of positions they didn't need to. 1C4 killing a teammate who was already down, so it wasn't a huge deal there, but that's some intel you lose. But more so, the second C4 that was used by the Mute over in Supply Room, missing the throw onto the default plant spot and throwing it way too early. That is a very key piece of utility to deny that Supply Room default plant that I know they would like back, but they're gonna have to just think back about that one and head upstairs to try to change things up.
I do have to say, probably, you know, the big play from that round was Karn, making the Mav line, not only killing a player, but downing another, forcing Maple to just kind of chill and stay back. In fact, cutting off the Mozzie as well, even though he got the kill on the Xeno in sight. That was big from him. And then, of course, Whitlock and Omega played that 2v2 very, very well. Look at Omega, 10-3 on the Thermite. Well done so far. But look at Waverunners. This isn't a situation where you look at the kills and you can be like, oh, why is this, so far? It looks like it could have been close. No, you can kind of tell how this match has gone just from looking at the scoreboard. Not a lot of these rounds have been all too close for LiViD. They've been pretty dominant so far. There's only one guy on Waverunners that's currently positive. I mean, there's only one guy on Waverunners who's not just positive, but above a 0.5 KD. We always talk about how kills don't matter, but when you're being beaten this bad, you can kind of point the finger towards that a little bit. Unfortunately for Rex, if he doesn't wait for the gate to be burned before throwing out the first Candela, but the other one will still sail its way in, and under the cover of smoke, Omega's going to start getting this plant down. The toxic gas canister far too late, and in fact, ineffective against Omega. It'll be able to kill him, but not before the plant has gone down. It's a one-man advantage for Waverunners, but look at the positions from LiViD. They've got a man outside a big window, but okay, I guess Caster's Curse, he'll get done and dusted right there. The Armory player also now down. It's just Whitlock in a 1v3. He's stuck inside of Master. Does he even know about the position of the Aruni? No, he does not. He sprints right in. Lovely coming back from Armory, helps save the round, and Waverunners end up taking it despite the early plant from LiViD catching them in their rotate.
Love the play from LiViD there. I love that aggression, trying to just finish off the round in the most, brutal way possible. Finish out the map as well. But no, Waverunners denied it. And I would say great retake, and they played really well together, and partly that's true. Their retake in Trophy itself was excellent, and they did a great job covering Whitlock in Master Bedroom. They knew exactly where he was positioned, and they just refused to let him get back into anywhere close to actually dealing with the person on that defuse. But those earlier engagements, those 1v1s that Waverunners took aggressively, LiViD just kind of lost that out. That's kind of Peaker's advantage in this game. We saw, I think it was Karn holding from the big window, just kind of holding that cross from the white stairs over towards that game's room, and it was the Mozzie. I'm not sure who exactly was able to get that kill. Maybe it was Lovely, but man, it was a great shot onto a player who was seemingly prepared to take that fight, and we saw that happen multiple times. LiViD just losing a couple of engagements that they would have won in maybe a previous round, and that's going to go in Waverunners' way because of, that man advantage that they used to their perfection, and they rolled through and they got that retake done. Excellent play from them. Now it's just about riding the wave of that momentum and carrying you forward a bit.
Yeah, I see what he did there. They still got 4 rounds to go.
5 seconds to go.
Still a tough task for them to catch back up. And again, play spoiler. That's really all they're playing for. They can't even make it out of the relegation zone, as you had highlighted earlier in this game. And now, well, they have to defend the tertiary site. Not confident in laundry anymore. They'll go to dining. It appears as if LiViD want to go for a kitchen take. I don't believe anybody on the attack spawning towards the small tower side. Zeno is already going to make his way in through Z, following very closely behind the drone that was in front of him. There was a meat jammer to dissuade that. But now that the jammer on the meeting wall has gone down, Omega can breach this. Look at how quick this is. There's still 2:20 left in the round, and LiViD are already setting up for execute.
Yeah, this is something we saw from LiViD in the past. I think it was them who really went for that split rush in meeting, and it worked beautifully. And obviously, that's not quite what we're seeing now, but it's something close to it. It's a take you to a tertiary bomb site, take you to some aggressive place, and it's going to work. Zeno's going to find the opening kill onto Niccolo, and here goes Omega. Yet again, an aggressive plant, and it looks like it's going down successfully. No! Vena from above with a shotgun in hand will deny it. Great heads-up play there. Dropping down Zeno as well. Maple's going to silence Whitlock, and this round just became very different. Now Rexu is going to have to fight this one back. A couple of nearly missed shots onto Lovely will finally land, but Vena from above is still in play and ready to get that frag done as well. Now it's going to be Karn against 3. This one took a very quick turn. Zeno not in a place where they can get revived, only providing just a little bit of intel onto Silence position, and Maple will be happy to get that final kill, silencing the Maverick and taking 2 rounds dominantly for the Waverunners.
While the clear from LiViD was very quick, it came at a price. That's what happens when you don't clear top floor. You can see the idea from LiViD was to just open the wall and plant, and leave Karn upstairs on the rappel to deny any sort of vertical presence, but the fact that the Mira of Vena was able to get tight into the corner, you can't see that from the window. I mean, maybe Karn could have naded. I don't know if there were any ADSs up there. That might have been able to stop him. But Vena denying that initial plant attempt pretty much shut that entire round out. Then LiViD, putting kind of all their eggs into one basket, had to scramble back for something, and they got killed as they tried to entry back into the site. So well played by Waverunners, especially Vena, spotting things out, making that floor hole on the fly, and then killing the planter. That'll narrow the gap by, once again, one more round. But still 3. Still a difference of 3. In addition to the 2 rounds that Waverunners just took, they still need a perfect site rotation. They want to go to OT and take a point. And they've got to do it on Laundry, a site that LiViD looked, well, quite frankly, incredible on, despite wasting 2 minutes upstairs.
Well, let's see how they can make this one happen, right? LiViD have been very aggressive 2 rounds in a row now. I suspect we'll see that pace change finally, because they will realize that, okay, it might be time to really zone in and just be as patient as we can. But luckily for them, they're headed back down to the basement attack, a site that just several rounds ago, they were able to win rather easily. They pushed on through, and a couple of wasted pieces of utility from the Waverunners allowed them to get firm site control and get that bomb down. Great coverage as well, assisted the entire time. But I like the point you brought up, Harrison, that again, LiViD on these roam clears, it hasn't been pretty, and it's been slow. Yes, it's been effective, and they've gotten the job done diligently, but it's come at the price of time, and that's put them in an uncomfortable position when it comes to these final pushes. They already are going to get underway very quickly, trying to go for another very fast clear, at least a very fast pressure towards the side of Waverunners, and they will do so, forcing the freezer player back. Now, Vena will respond by putting down that pocket mirror window on the freezer wall, so they've got more intel towards that freezer side. But LiViD have firm control of this map, partly because of their own doing in a very efficient clear, but also because Waverunners, interestingly enough, have not gone for that same roam setup that worked so well last time.
Yeah, deciding all 5 men on site is the way to go. Although, that's what LiViD dealt with last time, with even less time on the board. LiViD are still going for your standard E-box pillar drop, it looks like. So, Rexaby nearly beginning the burn down E-box. They'll send flashes down, send some nades down, clear that position so that they can make their way through. Here come the stuns from the Nomad. The nade is not going to find anything. There's no one playing close. And no one's going to drop the hatch just yet. I mean, when they drop, there could be a C4 with their name on it, but it will, in fact, miss. Whitlock will get the first frag onto Nicolo. Down goes Euromai, and there's still a minute for this attack to play with as they finally move into Pillar. Zeno, who was prone behind the Pillar, is actually going to lose his fight to Lovely. A brilliant shot by the Mute, but he'll soon be traded out by Whitlock, and the plant is going down from Karn. There is nothing from the defense to stop this. Once again, the gas canisters ineffectual. Vena kills the planter, but not before Silent gets taken out, and the plant is confirmed. It's Maple and Vena to save the game. Make it just Vena. He can't make it happen. Whitlock finishes things off, and ladies and gentlemen, your 3rd playoff team in Group B will be LiViD.
The playoff picture for Group B finally confirmed, and LiViD will be that 3rd team to join them. Excellent play from them overall. Absolutely deserved this one after such a dominant performance against the Waverunners and in that last round as well.